Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the garden. Today I thought we'd do some container planting here in front of the garage. I have a collection of plants. I have house plants, I have annuals, I have perennials, I have vining plants, I have bulbs. We're going to do a big, beautiful collection in the front of the garage in these pots that faced east. So that means I get great morning sun, and in the afternoon it's relatively shady. So I've grown some full sun plants here in the past and they've done well. I've grown shade plants and they do well here. So in our planting today, I have a combination of shade loving and sun loving plants. So let's get started. Obviously, the first thing we need to do is add some potting soil to our pots. I'm using this Black Cow organic potting mix. I've never used it before and I'm not affiliated with them, but I have used Black Cow manure in the past in my garden and I love it. And I was thrilled to find this potting mix that has the manure already mixed in. So we're just going to add this to the pot. I already have some in here. And we're also going to add some slow release fertilizer. This is just something that I picked up around the stores, nothing special, but you could pick up something like an Osmocote. And this feeds for, let me see how long, 9 months. So I'll get plenty of nutrients for these plants in here, but I will continue to go in and fertilize once a week with a water-soluble fertilizer. You want to mix it up so that fertilizer is well distributed. And in the end, you want your potting soil to be a little bit lower than the rim of your pot. That way, when it gets water, it doesn't overflow and the soil doesn't spill out over the edges. So that looks pretty good for right now. The first plant we're going to put in is the elephant ears. And if you remember, I had these started in my bathroom back in, oh gosh, I think it was February I potted them up. So they've done really, really well. We're going to put the elephant ear in the very back because this is going to be my taller plant. So you might want to call this the Thriller. Oh, let's see if we can get it out of there. Woo, look at those roots. I'd say they did really well in my bathroom. Gotta do that a little bit deeper. Set that in there. Firm the soil up right around it. Making sure not to go any deeper than it was planted in the pot. And there's our first plant, the elephant ears. The next plant we're going to put in is this beautiful Rex Begonia that I picked up at Walmart. And it came with looks like a Dichondra Silver Falls inside the pot as well. So I got 2 for the price of 1, was really thrilled with that. So we're going to set that right about here. Now I'm just going to use this pot to put some extra soil in right now because that Rex Begonia pot is pretty big and deep. And I want to make sure that we get that down in there and planted properly. All right, let's see if we can pop this out. So this isn't terribly root bound, so I'm just going to break a little bit of the soil off the bottom. And I'm going to put that back in this pot down on the floor so that we can set that begonia in our pot and firm that in all the way around, making sure there's no air pockets. And there is plant. And there is plant 2 and 3. The next plant I think we're going to put in is this cosmos. It is called Sonata Carmine, and it grows 20 to 24 inches tall, and it really prefers full sun. So this is the one plant that I'm really kind of hoping it makes it, because I think those colors just look beautiful. I'm going to pop 3 of these. Oops. I'm going to pop 3 of them right out of this peat pot. There we go. And we're going to put these right in the center. So again, just digging a hole with my hands. Untangling the elephant ears there. And I'm going to plant the 3 of them together. There we go. I love that texture. It just adds another dimension there. All right, next thing we're going to plant. I grabbed this Proven Winners Dark Side of the Moon Astilbe. These were on clearance at Lowe's, marked down on their clearance table. So I thought, whoop, I love the foliage in here. So we're going to try and add a perennial to the mix. And I thought we would add that right on the side. This planting is turning out to be kind of a silvery and sage and purple combination, which I think is very, very pretty. I love it up against our kind of sagey blue house. And this is supposed to get purple flowers later in the season, so again, it goes with our purple theme. The next thing I think we're going to add is our angel wings. This is an annual. It's grown just for its beautiful foliage, and I think we're going to tuck that right in here. Got to pull a little bit of this soil out. It's always a little bit of a guessing game of how much soil you need to put in your pots when you first start filling them up. Obviously, if you have bigger plants, you don't need to, or you don't need to add quite as much soil. But if you've got small little annuals, you probably need to add more because you don't displace that much when you're planting. I got to add a little bit in the back here. Again, another beautiful foliage plant. I think it's looking pretty good. All right, now we have some shade-loving Torenia, and this is in a little 6-pack. So I think we're just going to tuck these in here. I have 6 of them, so I have 3 planters, so I can put 2 in each planter. We've got this pretty little double Impatiens. This is Stardust Purple, double Impatiens. And I think I'm going to tuck that in back. You're not going to see it right now, but I think as it gets bigger, you will. It is supposed to get, let me see, 10 to 16 inches tall. So I think that might just fill in this back section. And I have one more plant. This is a house plant that I've had all winter. It's a Tradescantia variegated, and I think we're going to put that right in front here to cascade over the front of the pot. But I'm going to need to break it into 2 pieces. So I'm just going to squeeze and gently pull it apart. And I think we're going to put this right in front and tuck it in. I think it's looking really, really well. I'm going to work on the other 2, and then I'm going to clean up, and I'll show you what it looks like when they're all done. The last thing we need to do is just water them in really well. Now you want to make sure you water from the top the first couple times so that you can knock out any air pockets that might still be around the root balls. But that's about it. Now this is in one of my homemade self-watering containers. If you're interested in learning how I turn a plastic pot into a self-watering pot, there is a video on that. I will come back and water these once a week with a water-soluble fertilizer throughout the season. And then if it does get a little hot or dry, I may have to supplemental water every now and then. But other than that, these planters are ready to go for the season. I am going to be potting up some other things. I hope you watch those videos. I've got some other pots for the other side of the garage to do, and I've got some hummingbird planters that I'm going to put together. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. The way I know when my self-watering pots are full is you can see that I have water coming out the weep hole. So that tells me that the pot is full and any excess water is properly draining out.